guys, so today I wanted to talk about hair loss, and I know on my little survey on my story, everyone was more interested in hearing about hair loss than they were to hear about graying, which I'll talk about another day because there were still quite a few people who wanted that. But I'm gonna break this hair loss video down into two different types of hair loss. So there's like genetic hair loss, which means like you're going bald or you're just losing a significant amount of hair. But then there's also hair loss that's come from like breakage and just mistreating your hair and things like that. And that's gonna be the second video. So today is gonna be more genetic and what you can do from like the inside. And then the next one is gonna be on things that you can do to like moisturize your hair, add more protein back in your hair, add in maybe like use less heat and tips like that. So yeah, let's get started. Okay. So if I am looking down a lot during this video, it's because I have like a 12-page document of all the sources and all of the studies that I found to go with all this information. So if you're interested in it, I know on Instagram, I can't really share documents unless I put it in my bio, but on Facebook, you can just like message me, or on Instagram, you can message me and I can just send you the link that gives all of the different studies because it's actually super interesting. I have probably listened to a good 5 hours of just like doctors talking on the different studies, and it's so fascinating. Okay, so the four growth phases in hair are anagen, catagen, telogen, and then exogen. And with that, with the anagen, that phase usually lasts 2 to 7 years, and that's when the hair is just growing, doing its thing. It's kind of just growing, and hair usually grows about 1/2 inch a month. Catagen is the transition phase that lasts between 1 to 2 weeks. And then that is where the hair transitions upwards towards the skin pore and the dermal papilla begins to separate from the hair follicle. The next phase is telogen, which is the resting phase, and that's when the hair actually breaks off from the dermal papilla, and that usually lasts 2 to 4 months. The last phase is the exogen phase, and that's the shedding of the hair from your head. And then it starts all the way back with the anagen phase. And just so everyone knows, your head has about 100 million hair follicles, and at any given point, all of them are at one of these stages. Unless you're maybe going through some sort of chemo that could get rid of everything. Other than that, all of the hair follicles are going to be at all different. Oh my God. They're going to be at all different types of phases of the hair growth. Most people shed between 50 to 100 hairs per day. And it seems like women might shed more, but it's just because men's hair is a lot longer. I mean, women's hair is a lot longer. Sorry, I'm playing with my dog because he has no personal space. So to get into male pattern baldness, I have the doctors. There are Dr. Vikram J. Prakash and Dr. Russell Knudsen. They have a YouTube channel called The Hair Loss Show, and they were really good. That's where I got a lot of my information from, along with the U.S. National Library of Medicine. So the two doctors, they have a much more in-depth version of what I'm about to tell you, and they probably explain it a lot better. So in this document, I do have all the links to their videos that I think would be really helpful if you are interested in this. But so your body produces, this is for, just a disclaimer, this is for males. This affects some females, but it's pretty common in pretty much all male baldness. So your body produces testosterone, and then there's this 5-AR enzyme that gets produced. And then with these two together, the testosterone and the 5-AR, it produces DHT. And DHT stands for dihydrotestosterone. And when you have this DHT in your body alongside with the gene for hair loss, that creates the miniaturization of the hair follicle. So that means the shrinking of the hair follicle, which over time will lead to baldness. I swear, you're ruining my spotlight. So a medication that could help this is finasteride and dutasteride. These are medications that have to be prescribed by a doctor, but if you do have this is a major issue for you, I would recommend seeing a physician anyway. So yeah, like I said, it blocks the 5-AR enzyme from being produced, and then it stops the miniaturization from the DHT happening on your hair follicle. And no, these medications don't stop the production of testosterone, because you don't want that at all. Like, you still need testosterone. You need it for your brain health, and your heart health. Just like so many different things that go into your body is revolving around testosterone, and you don't want to mess with that. So this just helps keep at bay the enzyme that causes hair loss. Now for women, talk about men too. Men start noticing hair diminishing at around 20, whereas women, they start noticing it in their 40s, more than likely. For men, they don't ever really recommend getting a blood test. However, for women, since there's so many different things that go into women's hair loss, they do suggest getting blood tests. That's going to be the first place that they start. They're going to be looking for any sort of thyroid issues, B12 deficiencies, or iron deficiencies. Sometimes with menopause and birth control, having the various changes in birth control, menopause, and childbirth, having the huge jumps of hormones in and out of your body can cause hair loss. I'm going to go into a couple other triggers for hair loss. One is alopecia areata, that causes huge patches of hair to fall out. The culprit of this is your immune system. It's basically attacking all of the healthy hair follicles. Like I said before, childbirth, the pill, polycystic ovary syndrome can cause hair loss. Extreme stress causes hair loss. Crash diets. So let's say you lost 15 or 20 pounds in 1 month. I know me, I was on a vegan diet for 7 years. I was really low. I was deficient in vitamin D, B12, and iron. So once I started taking supplements for that, my hair started getting a little bit better. But then also, let's say you're on like a keto diet and I've heard people losing like 30 pounds in a month if you have that much to lose. That's like a huge shock to your system. So usually 2 to 3 months down the line after you lose this weight, you're going to be feeling great. You're going to be looking amazing, but you could feel like you're losing some hair. And that's just because, there was such a shock to your body, that the hair is just kind of catching up with it. And that's why you might suffer from some hair loss, but it'll come back. So I said, eating disorders. If you've ever had an eating disorder, just not having the lack of nutrients could cause your hair to just get brittle. And I swear to God, it could cause your hair to get brittle. So that's a mental disorder. So I would highly recommend speaking to a doctor about that. And then also, like I said, if you don't have if you don't have enough iron, it can make everything very brittle. So now that Ace has my cardigan, hopefully we can get back into this video. So finally, some solutions that I've found for this. And now these solutions are more things that you can do on your own. The other ones, if you're going to a doctor, they're going to have a million more options for you. But these are just things that I've found that you can get over the counter. Minoxidil, that's right, it's minoxidil. So that is also known as like Rogaine. You can get that over the counter. They have foams and, well, there's foams, I think there's a spray, and then you can take like supplements. But the only thing with supplements is it's going to be more all over. So you'll probably see hair growth all over your body rather than just in like the spot that you spray it on. So I'd be cautious with that, but still using it. I've heard a lot of people have had good luck with that. The doctors were saying that a lot of their patients within like 4 to 6 weeks, they come back and they're like, doctor, like I absolutely hate this, like get me off of this. And unless there's some other situation going on, the doctors say that this is actually a good thing if you are experience hair loss while on this in the first 6 to 8 weeks, or 4 to 6 weeks, because that's, like I was saying, in the growth phases, you have the anagen phase, which is the growth phase, and then your last phase is the exogen phase. So the medicine takes all of the hair that's not in the anagen phase to the exogen phase. It makes it basically shed, so then you can start growing hair that's thicker and healthier and the hair that you actually want. So if you can just push through that 4 to 6 week time period, your hair should start to come back a lot thicker and just better. A natural option is saw palmetto. It's a species of palm that you can take. I believe they have it in all different, you can take it in like a supplement, or they have different sprays and stuff for it now. But that blocks that 5-AR enzyme I was talking about and how it affects the DHT that causes a hair miniaturization of the follicle. And I do have a study in here saying how saw palmetto was effective in improving hair growth in 60% of men with male pattern baldness between the ages of 23 and 64. The third option is the tua plant. It is a coniferous plant that they have all different types of supplements for it now. It helps with hair loss. The treatments were given in East Asia and they found really good luck. So I also have a couple other studies for how that helps. They did this, I believe, they did one of these studies on rats, which I believe is kind of unethical, but it did show really promising results. And then there's other studies in here that I've put just talking about the two more like natural options. The second my last two options for you guys are Xenogen and Nioxin. I think a lot of people have heard of Nioxin, at least I have. I've heard about it for years. Although Xenogen, I'm not super familiar with, but in a lot of the hairstylist forums that I'm in, people have been ranting and raving about it. And I did look on their website, which I have linked in here. And there's a couple I can sell you Nioxin from my salon distributor. However, I'm not a distributor for Xenogen, but all of the before and after pictures that they were putting in looked super promising. So if you're interested in that, I could direct you to people who could help you. So please let me know. But yeah, just to wrap this video up, I really hope that this helped. Like I said, I do have a lot of information in this document. If you're wanting it, I could share it with you. And just know that so many people do suffer from hair loss, and it's not something, I know it's really hard when you're going through it, but it's not something to be ashamed of, and just trying to work with it. We have all different types of options too, if you need wigs or any sort of extensions or things like that to kind of help get you through. So if you're interested in any of those things, let me know too. But you're beautiful, and I hope you have a great day.